Okay, today we are going to be ranking every single NBA team in the NBA season before the season starts. I know this is a little early and free agency isn't completely over, but I think that this is a good time to do it. So we are going to be ranking them from 1 to 3, 4 to 6, 7 to 9, 10 to 12, and 13 to 15. Let's get started. Okay, so we have the Portland Trailblazers. They won't have Damian Lillard, and Scoot Henderson, I think, will be one of the better players, and Toumani Camara is honestly one of the best defensive players in the league. They lost DeAndre Ayton. I could see them being in the 7 and 9 range for their designated conference, so for the Western Conference. And next we have the Milwaukee Bucks. Since they have Kyle Kuzma, Giannis Antetokounmpo, their guard play is a little not great. Ryan Rollins is probably going to be the starting point guard. And we have decent shooters, Gary Trent Jr., and we have Taurean Prince off the bench. Usually he starts. We also have Miles Turner. I think that was a great addition. I think this team's going to be like 48 and 34. I'm in the 4 to 6 range, probably in the 6 spot. For the Bulls, I think they're going to be good. They're going to have Kobe White. They're not going to be great. I could see them in the 7 to 9 range. They're always competing for a play-in spot, and I think that's usually what they get. They're probably going to be 7th or 8th. They haven't been fantastic in the past probably 7 years. They haven't been great. They make any additions. They just signed Josh Giddey back, which I thought was really good. So I'm going to put them in the 7 to 9 range. I think they get like 7 or 8. Okay, so for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now this is where we get into that easy 1 to 3 range. They're going to be 2 or 1 in the Eastern Conference. They're probably going to be the best team in the conference by far, because the Eastern Conference is so just like diluted down. So many players are injured. And I think that with Donovan Mitchell, Defensive Player of the Year, Evan Mobley, who is literally one of the best defensive players, if not the best defensive player in the league. Just so many good players, especially in the guard position as well, like Darius Garland, DeAndre Hunter. So yeah, 1 to 3 easily. The Boston Celtics. Okay, so if we're looking at it, they have Anthony Simons now. Jason Tatum probably won't play. He might play maybe in the middle of the season because he is recovering fast. Like, I've seen that. They have Jaylen Brown, obviously. Okay, so looking at their roster, they have Chris Boucher, Jaylen Brown, okay, Luka Garza. Honestly, some good players off the bench and a good backup forward position because Chris Boucher is honestly decent. Jaylen Brown obviously is great. Sam Hauser is a great shooter. Dross Minott, that is a good addition actually, especially for the defense on this team. And Peyton Pritchard, literally one of the best guards off the bench in the league, if not the best. Derek White. I think this team is gonna be. I could see them being 3rd. I could see them being 3rd, maybe 4th, but I'm gonna put them at 3rd. Obviously, Cavaliers are going to be 1st, but I could see the Celtics being the 3rd. Okay, going to the LA Clippers, who just added Brook Lopez in the offseason. Goodbye, Brook Lopez. I miss you dearly. Okay, so they have Patrick Baldwin, Nicholas Batum, Bradley Beal, jeez, Cam Christie, Kobe Brown, Chris John. Okay, honestly, a really good team. For their conference, I think that they go in that 4 spot. They go 4th. In that conference. I think they go 5th. I think they get finished 5th. The Western Conference is great. There's so many good teams in that conference, and I think that team's going to do well. Next, we have the Memphis Grizzlies. John Morant's going to be back. They lost Desmond. Yeah, Desmond Bane isn't there anymore. If they can stay healthy, I think that this team finishes like 8th. They're not great, but they're not bad, because usually this team cannot stay healthy, and Jaren Jackson can't either. Okay, the Atlanta Hawks. Trae Young. Oh yeah, that's right. They added Kristaps Porzingis, and they have Luke Kennard, and they got Trae Young, of course, Jalen Johnson. Honestly, I don't think this team's going to be that bad. Ooh, are we going 6 or are we going 7? All right, are we going 6 or 7? I think they finish. No, they go 7. They go 7th. The Bulls go 8th. The Miami Heat. They didn't do much in the offseason, did they? Okay, Precious Achiuwa, Bam. Simone Fontecchio, Tyler Hero, just the usual people. They didn't do too much in the offseason, but they were pretty good. Khalil Ware. Oh, Andrew Wiggins, that's right. This team is a good. I think the Bulls go 8th, the Miami Heat go 9th. Yeah, they go 9th. Charlotte Hornets. Do they get better this year? I don't think they get better this year. LaMelo Ball can never stay healthy. Miles Bridges is pretty good. Other than that, I mean, this team had good draft picks this year. I think that they're going to definitely flesh out. Brandon Miller is going to be much better. Now, he's probably going to be like a top 50 player in the league. He's a good scorer when he's healthy. He's got to get respected. For the Charlotte Hornets, I think that they finish in a good little 10th spot. You might sneak into the play, and it's 10th or 11th, maybe 12th. But I don't think the team is really that bad. But that's my thoughts about them. The Utah Jazz. Holy, the Utah Jazz. I got to check that roster. Give me a minute. All right, so they got Kyle Anderson. We know that. They have Ace Bailey, Kyle Filipowski. I think this team is definitely going to elevate this year. Lauri Markkanen, probably going to be one of the better players in the league. If you saw what he did in the Europa League, he went crazy. Literally like 40-point game, 30-point game. He was playing really good. I don't think this team's bad, really. Do I think they're great? No. I think they elevate a little bit this year. I think they go in like a good 10th spot in the Western Conference, but obviously that 7th through 9th can really stay. I think that they really go in the 9th spot of this conference. I think they're a decent team with a decent bench, and I think they have young players that'll really flesh out to be better this year. And Ace Bailey, I think he's going to be a pretty good player in the league. I think that he'll show out a little more with his athleticism and build off of that. And Lauri Markkanen is going to be great. The Sacramento Kings. Now, this is a team that I don't think will get much better. They didn't really do much in the offseason. Let's check that roster. Okay. So, yeah, DeMar DeRozan. Oh, and Zach LaVine. That's right. Malik Monk. Just an offensive powerhouse, to be honest. Domantas Sabonis. Not a lot of defense on this team. I'm good. Not a lot of defense. No more De'Aaron Fox. We know this. They added Dennis Schroeder, though. Just not a lot of defense in this team, and I just don't really see them making that big of moves. I think I'm going to move the Jazz down. I apologize. The Jazz are probably going to be 10th, and I could see the Sacramento Kings being 9th or the 7th through 9th position. The New York Knicks, definitely going to be 1 through 3. 1 through 3 easily in this league. Could see them being number 1, but obviously I think Cleveland is too good, especially with their young roster just getting better. Okay, looking at that roster, very similar, but they did add Malcolm Brogdon this offseason, a great player for their bench in my opinion. I think that he's really going to come off the bench and be a good ball handler, but also a decent shooter as well. OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, this team's defense is kind of just crazy. It's really good. It's really what wins them games, in my opinion. I think that like Miles McBride is a good player off the bench who can really be that 3-and-D player. I think that his defense is great, and he can also be a streaky shooter as well. Their center depth is pretty good as well, having 2 good centers. So I think that this team is easily going to be 2nd. So we'll just put that right there. Okay, and I rearranged it a little more so you can tell what conference it is. It's the Eastern Conference, and this is the Western Conference. I'm just making it a little easier for myself and for obviously you. The Los Angeles Lakers. If I'm really thinking about it, the Los Angeles Lakers are a great team, and Luka is going to be great. LeBron obviously is still going to be good. The amount of no defense on this team, though, is just insane. Their offensive power is fantastic, and they're really going to have the offensive motor, but their defense is going to be so bad. With DeAndre Ayton getting added in the offseason, and that's about the only big move that they made, I think this team sticks in that 5. I could see them being that 4 through 6 range for sure, but I just don't know where exactly they would land. For the Orlando Magic, if this team stays healthy, they are 4 through 6. They're 4 through 6. Holy shit, I might have to move the Celtics down because this team might be better than them. This team has Paulo Banchero, Franz Wagner, Mo Wagner, that Paulo Banchero, Desmond Bane getting added, Goga Badazzi, Anthony Black, Wendell Carter Jr., Tristan Da Silva, and Tyus Jones. Like, Jalen Suggs is going to be a great player, is a great defensive player, and Franz and Mo Wagner. Honestly, I could see this team being 1 through 3. If you argue that this team is going to be the 3rd best player in the Eastern Conference, I would not disagree, but they do suffer a lot of injuries. They land 4th, and it's going to be a very close race between the Celtics and the Magic. But I think that they land at 4th, but they're going to be that 4th spot in my opinion. Okay, the Dallas Mavericks. If Anthony Davis can stay healthy, this team's going to be great. And Kyrie Irving might come back in this season, maybe in the middle. I don't know. You never know with an ACL injury. It could heal quickly. It could heal slowly. It looks like it's healing quickly right now for Kyrie Irving, but I think that Cooper Flag is going to be great. I don't think this team is going to be great, though. I just think the injuries will really suffer this team, and with that, I think I'm going to stick them in that 10 to 12 range. Like, checking this roster, they have Max Christie, Anthony Davis, obviously Cooper Flag, Daniel Gafford, Jaden Hardy, Dirk Lively II if he comes back and he's healthy, PJ Washington, Klay Thompson. This team is constructed pretty well, and okay, looking at the roster again, I'm getting a little bit of a refresher. Sorry I have to move around stuff. The Trailblazers move down, and this team moves. I think if this team stays healthy, they're going to be the 9th best team in the Western Conference, in my opinion. I'm going to move the Trailblazers down. I still don't think the Jazz are going to be really hard to tell. This Western Conference is really stacked. Maybe the Trailblazers aren't that good. I don't know. The Brooklyn Nets. Do I think this team's going to be good this year? Absolutely not. And that's why they're going 3 for 15. I'm just kidding, Brooklyn Nets fans. Don't worry. A lot of good draft picks this year. Very young team. And that's why I think that they're going to be a little loose, not very tight in the league for being a great team. And they weren't great this year, and I don't think they're going to be great again. But in the next few coming years, I think that they could be really good. And this is why I think that I'm going to stick them at that 3 to 15 range. I don't think they're going to be fantastic. You could be in that 10 to 12 range. I could definitely see that. It's just really hard for a younger team. The Denver Nuggets. I think this team is going to be in that 1-3 range in the Western Conference easily. Literally one of the best teams in the league, in my opinion, going into the next year. Obviously, they added that Tim Hardaway Jr., that shooter that can come off the wing and can really score, especially with Nikola Jokic in his playmaking abilities. He can really do that stuff. They have the same exact core that they had without Michael Porter Jr., but I think that they made a better move. Oh, Cameron Johnson. Cameron Johnson is going to be a great player for this team. Kind of replaces Michael Porter Jr., but better defense and honestly a better shooter, in my opinion. This team's going to be fantastic, though, so I think that I'm going to put them in that 1-3 range. I think they get second. We're going to move on to the Pacers. Okay, I'm going to put them in the 7-9 range. I don't think this team is going to be fantastic, and I think that I'm going to stick the... Okay, I think I'm going to stick the Pacers at the 7 spot. I moved the Bulls down to the 10 spot. I apologize, Bulls fans, but I don't think that they are going to be better than the Indiana Pacers. I think the Indiana Pacers are probably going to be in that 8th seed since Tyrese Halliburton got injured and Miles Turner moved. And they could be good because this team is really feisty on that ball, and I think that all of those players that were in the playoff run really knew how to play hard basketball. The New Orleans Pelicans are not going to be great because I saw Zion. We saw Zion's picks. He looked pretty good. He looked pretty healthy, I'm not going to lie, but I just never expect this team to be good anymore. And Zion Williamson gets healthy, but he doesn't play an entire NBA season. And you're really wondering, when are we going to see him play a full NBA season? And you just never get it. So I stick him in that 10-12 range. Zion's going to help him win a few games, but I don't think that they're going to be fantastic. I think that they get the last spot in 12. And for the Detroit Pistons next, I think I'm going to put them at the 5 spot. I think that the Detroit Pistons are going to be better. Cade Cunningham is probably going to have a near MVP season this year. I'm not joking. He's really that good. I think the Magic are going to be a little better than them, but Cade Cunningham, that Jalen Duren, a very young team who's really coming up, and they signed Duncan Robinson, who's going to be a great off-ball shooter for them. Doesn't play a lot of defense, but I think that he can really fill that small forward position and being that shooter or shooting guard position. My fault. Give that to them, and I think that they really need that. So I'm going to put them at the 5 spot. Toronto Raptors, 13-15. Not a great team at all. Okay, so we have Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett, Brandon Ingram, Colin Murray-Boyles, who was their first-round pick, and Emmanuel Quickley. Do I think that team's going to work out fantastically? No. Could I see them getting a good amount of wins if Scotty Barnes stays healthy? They could be in that 10-12 range, but I think they're going to be better than Brooklyn Nets. They're probably going to be 13. But I could see them being 12. I think the Hornets get that 13-15 range. I'm sorry I'm switching these around so much, but this is why you got to watch the end of the video. Yeah, Toronto Raptors, I think they're going to be a decent team if they can stay healthy, and they're going to be in that 10-12 range. They could be on the brink of 10, in my opinion. They could be better than the Bulls, or they could be in that 11 or 12 spot. The Houston Rockets, 1-3. Easily 1-3. In my opinion, they're probably going to be competing for that number 1 spot. To be honest, they added Kevin Durant in the offseason, and they still have Amen Thompson, and Fred VanVleet got injured, but I think that's going to affect them a little bit, but I still think that they're going to be great. I think that this team's going to flourish. Kevin Durant's going to be a great player if he can stay healthy, and this team's going to be great. And I think that they stick in that 2nd or 3rd range, just like the Denver Nuggets. I think they're going to be I don't think they're going to be as good as the Denver Nuggets due to Fred VanVleet's injury. Defensively, that team's going to be nasty, and offensively, they're really going to get it going. Next, we have the Philadelphia 76ers. I could see this team at 10-12. I think VJ Edgecombe is really going to be one of the best players in the draft, probably getting that 3rd spot in that Rookie of the Year, or maybe a 2nd spot. A really great shooter and a great 3-and-D player who can really play on the ball well. And they still have Tyrese Maxey, and if Joel Embiid stays healthy, then they can probably make a bigger move. But I just never expect them to stay healthy, and I'm sorry about that. And also they have Paul George. I don't know. It's hard to tell with the 76ers, and they could be in that 7-9 range, but I'm going to put them probably at 11 or 10. I can see them in that 10-12 range. The San Antonio Spurs, if Victor Wembanyama can stay healthy, I could see them being better. Okay, I'm going to put them at 7-9 range. It's really hard to rank these teams because I think that they're going to elevate to be so much better. Their team is so young, and getting that other year of progression for their team, for their players last year, and they get Dylan Harper, who's one of the best players in the draft offensively in their guard positions, probably as a 6th man. I think he's going to be fantastic. So I think they're going to be in that 7-9 range. It's hard to just know who's going to be healthy. The Phoenix Suns, 10-12. Devin Booker's going to be fantastic. They have Grayson Allen, Dylan Brooks, Obviously, that Kevin Durant trade, Devin Booker, Jalen Green. Do I think this team's going to do fantastic things? Not really. Jalen Green's going to do well. Do I think that he's going to have a breakout year like they say every year? No. No, and I don't think that they're going to be one of the best teams in the NBA. I think Mark Williams is going to help definitely on that center position. And they did get Kaman Malawak, who I think is going to be a great draft prospect for them. But do I think they're going to be great? No, I think they're going to stick to that 10 to 12 range, but I could see them being in that 8 spot or that 9 spot for sure. So they're on the brink, and I think they're going to be better than these 3 teams. The OKC Thunder, number 1 seed. I don't really have to say anything. They were the champions last year. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's on this team. Chet Holmgren's on this team. Jalen Williams is on this team. We know this roster, and they're great defensively. One of the best defensive teams ever in NBA history, and a fantastic offensive one, too. A great three-point shooting team. If they make their shots, then they're a great team. And they just win games, and I think that really helps them. So I'm going to stick them in that number 1 spot. The Minnesota Timberwolves are going to be in that 4 to 6 range. I think that Anthony Edwards is going to have a fantastic year. And Rudy Gobert is a great defensive player, can really lock up on the inside, but can have a little flourishing moments sometimes where he's not great. Their guard and Rob Dillingham can really elevate to be that secondary guard that they need. Dante DiVincenzo still a great shooter, and Julius Randle still a player that can really beat up the guys on the inside and be that strength that you really need. And Naz Reid being that good 6-man or 6C, but we'll see. That's why I'm in the 4 to 6 range. The Golden State Warriors, they just added Al Horford a few days ago. Steph Curry's still on this team. We know this team, Jimmy Butler. When this team had Jimmy Butler, they were going on runs. Team is really old. I kind of made a mistake, didn't I? Because I have them in the 7 to 9 range. I have them in the 7 to 9 range. With these players, you're going to get wins. It doesn't matter. You have Steph Curry on your team. You're going to get wins, but you're not going to win a championship. I don't see this team winning a championship, and I'm sorry, Warriors fans. I'm going to put you in that 7 to 9 range. I mean, the Wizards, 13 to 15th. I still don't think you guys are going to be great, but in the next few years, watch out because you might be really good. I think you're going to be one of the worst teams in the NBA. But if you aren't, then props to you, Wizards fans, because that would be fantastic. And I love to see the Wizards to be good. But still good young players on that team that I think can really elevate to be good in the next few years. But I just don't think the time is now. 2 to 3 years from now, time could be yours. I'm going to rearrange this list one final time and give you a 13 to 15th in that Western Conference because I'm having a little bit of a difficulty. So just give me a moment. That I'm in a different shirt because last time I recorded this I did not have my microphone plugged in. So this is my final list. We have the Cavs at 1, Knicks at 2, Celtics at 3, Magic at 4, Pistons at 5, Bucks at 6, Hawks at 7, Pacers at 8, Heat at 9, Bulls at 10, 76ers at 11, Raptors at 12, Hornets at 13th, Brooklyn Nets at 14th, and Wizards at 15th. That's for the Eastern Conference. Then for the Western Conference, we have OKC at 1, Nuggets at 2, Rockets at 3, Lakers at 4, Timberwolves at 5, Clippers at 6, Grizzlies at 7, Warriors at 8, Mavericks at 9, Spurs at 10th, Kings at 11th, Suns at 12th, Utah Jazz at 13th, Pelicans at 14th, and finally the Trailblazers at 15th. But that's it. Thank you for watching.